Hi, everybody. I'm Kim, and I'm so glad to be visiting with you today. This is my podcast called Naturally Kim's Knitting, and it's a podcast just about knitting and spinning and dyeing yarn and just having crafty fun. Plus, there will be a little talk about grandchildren through the way because, and family because, hey, they're what they're my number one thing in life. Anyways, I know this is January 1st, and what am I doing taping a podcast? Well, we have discovered as we get older, we celebrate Hogmanay, which is celebrated in Scotland. And the advantage of that is when it's midnight there, it's only 7 o'clock here. So we usually have a glass of bubbling grape juice, although the grocery store was out of it. But we usually have a glass of bubbling grape juice when it's Hogmanay time, and we drink that, and then we can go to bed at our normal time and not have to stay up till midnight. So I am pretty well bright-eyed and bushy-tailed right now, as you can tell. I hope you don't mind me coming into your house today to visit and talk a little bit. If you would like to, you may. I should first tell you before I go on any further. This is episode 148. You may hear some noise in the background today because my hubby decided, well, if it's New Year's Day, and this is what we do, get down the boxes so we can start putting the Christmas things away and get our house back to a semblance of order. So, anyways, to go on with things, um, you can find me online on Ravelry as NapiersKnits and our podcast group, which is Naturally Kim's Knitting. Etsy, I do have an Etsy store. There's not much in it yet. I hope to be adding some of my homespun to it soon, so be on the lookout for that. Um, Anyways, my Etsy store is Napier's Knits. Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram. I love to see what you guys put out there, and I try to put things once in a while. Not always knitting related, but my Instagram name is Knittin, KNITTIN underscore Kim. My cat just knocked something down. And then I am Naturally Kim's Knitting on YouTube, Blogger, and WordPress. Whew. And I know a lot of you have turned in today because you would like to see if you happen to be a winner on one of my knit-alongs, because today I closed them and I started the new finished object one today. Well, I am giving $5 giftable Ravelry patterns to the following winners for the finished object knit along for December. Those winners are FIZZONA, EYENOWHOUR, LMECOLL, which is Linda, and TRILINDA. Yay! Now, like I said, the January one is now open, so go ahead and start putting your things. I know, after Christmas, you really don't want to think about knitting anything for, with pressure and everything. So take your time. If you get things done, put them in there. Hey, and those of you who have finished and have done knitting for others, this would be a good time to start on your shawl for our other knit-alongs going on. I'm jumping around. Sorry about that. I have my show notes here. Why aren't I following them? I don't know. Anyways, our knitting for others that ran from November through December, those winners are Anita, because I'm not going to try and say your screen name, LMECOLL, TRILINDA, FIZZONA, and ANASTACIAKNITS. Now, if you happen to be a person who won both this knit along and the finished object, if you have a $10 pattern you'd like to have instead of 2 $5, go ahead. Let me know what it is. I'll be glad to combine. Everybody else in there gets a $5 giftable Ravelry pattern. And I might start giving away some of my homespun on here soon too, as a prize. Or books. Or you never know. I just got to get over the expensive postage. Our Myla knit along, which is the Wonder Shawl, which you can get on Myla's Knit Corner. Um, it finishes up at the end of January. So you have a month. It is not a difficult knit, I don't think. Getting started, yes, but as you get the pattern going, it's a joy. So anyways, that will go on through the end of this month. Now, the winners of that, Myla has been nice enough to gift one pattern from her store for the winner of this knit along. So yeah, take part. She has lovely, lovely designs. She has them for children and she has them for adults. She has mitts, she has shawls, she has hats. Oh, she is a wonder. I guess I kind of look up to Myla. That is what I would like to be one day. Anyways, so that goes on through the end of January. Um, if you have any craft along ideas, go ahead and put them in the following the podcast. I do have a list of ideas, but I'd like to see if you have any other ones. Whew! Made it through all that stuff. Now, what I am knitting on. What are you knitting on? Oh, I'd love to hear, because you know me, I've always got a few things going on. Well, some of these are gifts. I've decided they're not Christmas presents, but they are socks for other people. I can't say who they're for because those people might watch, because I do send this out to everybody. Now, as you know, I have this, it's a beautiful, beautiful yarn. I got this from Woolbothy, and it's a blue variegated, and I have this pattern, and you can't really see it on there. I can get it in the center. I don't know if that will help. You can't, it doesn't, you can't, it doesn't really do it justice, and I'm apologizing for that. Um, I might try and do a sample of this with some plain yarn, and maybe you'll be able to see. But I asked my husband, look at this. Tell me what you think of. And he decided it's racing stripes. So that is the name of this. And yes, this is a sock for a family member. I can't say who. I don't know if they watch or not. But I've gotten through the heel and starting up the cuff. I am so happy. Ha, 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 ha. And there's the other one. It's almost identical. I'm sorry. I'm just being silly. But I thank Woolbothy for making that yarn available. I will make sure to send him a picture, and her, Caroline too, of what I made with that. So we got that. Oh, I might as well pull this over. I don't know why I brought that up. My books are falling. It wouldn't be a podcast if I didn't have things fall. Now this is a pattern, one of my patterns also, that I'm making for a dear, dear friend. You see I have the ribbed heel just on the back, just to give it a little bit more grip so the sock doesn't slip down. But I love this because in the middle, if I can get in the middle, you have a nice straight band. But then you have these designs on the side, which in my imagination look like trees and bushes and things. So I've made it that far on the one sock. These are socks. All of my socks, once I start working on them, I don't want to put them down. And this is the other. I can't say who they're for. I want to, so since I've got a specific pattern name for that, that's called the straight and narrow, because it has the straight and narrow path down the middle. Yay! Then another one of my Woolbothy yarns. I got these last year, I think, and I would love to get more, except I'm not buying yarn right now. I'm sorry, John and Carolyn, but I'm not. But these are also a gift. And I sat down with these yesterday. These are just plain stockinette socks. Nothing fancy. I mean, the heel, because I did put the ribbing. But look at that. Isn't that a gorgeous purple? And that is true to color. Isn't that gorgeous? So I've got that done. And there's, well, I've made it that far on both of them. Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, and I have to tell you, I am so tickled pink because I gave socks to both of my brothers and my youngest brother's wife, and I gave them to my sister and her husband. And each one of them rave about the socks I made them. I'm just so tickled. And they all say how they have cold feet. So I don't know if that's a thing that comes with age or what. But that's why, unless all my home knit socks are dirty, that's all I wear. Sometimes even in the summer. So let's see. My temperature Afghan, it's hibernating. I hope to bring it out again soon. The Garden Gnome hoodie. Oh. I told you last week I'm heartbroken because I bought merino nylon yarn and I did not realize that Kool-Aid made a red Kool-Aid and a blue Kool-Aid in the blue envelopes. I didn't read the names. I didn't look at the picture on the Kool-Aid pack. I know these are all signs. Didn't pay attention. Well, you know what happens when you mix the red Kool-Aid and the blue Kool-Aid? You get it. That looks more brown. It is a kind of a rusty shade of red, and then you have spots in it where there's blue that peeks out. I don't have any there. This happened to fall off of the roving I was spinning, so I just brought it along. But there's little patches where you can see some blue, and I can't add this to my Garden Gnome hoodie. So I did ask my husband. He does bills on Sundays. And I said, okay, I hate to ask, but can I get roving for Genevieve's sweater? And he goes, okay, go ahead. So I got more. And I said, I promise this time I will read the Kool-Aid packets because I love dyeing with Kool-Aid. I've done the chemical route, but I love dyeing with Kool-Aid. I might try food coloring next. I have to decide. But so her yarn that'll be for her will go back to the blue. Silly me. Then if you remember, I talked about making a sweater for my grandniece, I guess you call her. She's not a year yet. But I found this dress on Ravelry, and it's called the Marion dress. And it's by, I don't know how you say her first name, but it's Taiga, I think. Taiga, Hillard Designs. She has a Ravelry page. And let me show you what it looks like. I wasn't sure if I would like this at first because this yarn is a little busy, and this is yarn I dyed. I don't have this in my show notes. Anyways, oh, it is a top-down pattern, and it buttons right over here on the side, so that's not a mistake. That's supposed to be like that. But look at this. I love that pattern, and then it carries on through the skirt. And it's quite a long skirt. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to make it as long as it's supposed to be or if I'll shorten it a little bit because, you know, as little kids start learning to walk and they crawl, a dress can get in the way. And then when they walk, you know, same thing. A dress can get in the way. And I don't want that to happen to any little kid. So this is the Marion dress, and it's for our great niece Claire. Yes, it wasn't meant to be a Christmas present. I knew there'd be no way it'd make it in time for Christmas, but that's okay. Whew! I have on my notes, I've started a chemo cap. I haven't yet, but this is what the next one's going to be made out of. This is Knitpicks Brava Worsted. Get the name on there. And get the right color name. Wine. Well, it does look like wine. Don't know why I didn't think of that. That's wine. So that's what I'm going to be starting the next one out of, probably today. That's all that's on my needles. That isn't hibernating. But, you know, I tried to make chemo caps. Well, I had this wonderful roving that I made into yarn that I got from Woolbothy, and it's 100% Shetland wool. And I took a skein, I don't know what you call it. I took some brown and I took some of their cream colored, and I knit my husband a hat because it would be too itchy for chemo kids. But my husband loves to go out, well, doesn't love to, but he goes out and he shovels. And when he does, I like, you see me tossing the thread. I told him, it's almost finished. You know me. Yeah, you have to tuck in the end. I said, yeah. But that's his hat. I made it so the brim could be, I thought I saw another thread. So the brim could be folded up. I'm seeing things, guys. Not really, not really. That's it for everything crafty that I'm doing right now. Okay, I showed you the roving that I made the mistake on. I haven't heard what Knit Picks sale of the month is yet. Maybe they're going to put it out tomorrow because probably nobody's working today. But I just told you how my husband and I celebrate Hogmanay because we like to go to bed early. So I bring up BBC Radio Scotland. I don't know if I put those words in the right order on my computer. We do this every year. And it started when my daughter and I came back from the UK. And that's been like, oh my goodness, that was 2005. So every year since then, I turn on that station, and that's when we celebrate New Year's. It's New Year's. You know, we could celebrate, you know, almost any time, and it would be New Year's somewhere in the world. But it's just a fun thing that I like doing. And then I call my daughter when it's midnight in Scotland. And which in California, it's even earlier. If I call her at 7, it would be 4 there. So I call her, and it's like 4 o'clock, and I get her on the phone, and, you know, she knows what to expect. But then my granddaughter gets on, and she just is giggling because it was nap time. I didn't realize it was nap time. And this was keeping her awake a little bit longer. And she just gets the giggles when she gets tired. I told you there'd be grandchildren talk. Well, she takes the phone from Mom, and she goes, "Hi, Grandma." I said, "Hi, sweetie." I said, "Happy Hogmanay." And she goes, "What's that?" I said, "Well, this is the day that is New Year's. Well, it's going on New Year's here in the United States, but in Scotland, it's Hogmanay." And she goes, "Oh." And then she was so excited because for Christmas, she got pads and a helmet and a scooter and skates. I said, "Wow." And you can use them inside and you can use them outside. I said, "That is so cool." Well, I got a picture. Well, we got a little video of her riding her scooter and telling her mom that, now, brother can't ride this because he's not old enough and he'll get an owie. And going on. And then this was at their grandma's house that's in California. And she goes, and let's see. Oh, and he didn't bring his helmet. But there is a picture then later that they sent us. And there is brother on the scooter with the helmet and the pads. And sister is sitting there. And I said, it looks like she's either protecting the scooter from brother or brother from getting an owie on the scooter. But then her mom told me, no, that is her giving the safety lecture to her brother. I'm sorry. I think it's funny. If you don't like to hear any of that stuff, I understand. So for last year's, let's go on to something else here. For last year's resolutions, as you know, I didn't get 13 pairs of socks for the soup kitchen done, but I got 11. Chemo caps, I got 33 done. Scarves, I got 6. Scarves aren't even on my to-do list for this year. And I got more than 3 garments done. Now, for this next year, my resolutions are I want to publish 12 patterns. That's my goal. I'm figuring 1 a month. I should be able to do that. 12 pairs of socks for the soup kitchen. Same logic. 20 chemo caps for kids because it doesn't take me long to make one. 20 should be doable. And this year I got 33 done. So 20 should be doable. I want to spin 2 new fibers that I've never spun before. And after October, I put this down, but then I realized I'm going to have to change it. I put $25 a month for yarns, and I'm hoping not to purchase patterns, but I may raise that to 30. It depends. That's supposed to be for yarn. I'm going to have to come up with a budget for roving, and only by roving when I'm getting very low. And then I want to use my Ravelry queue as a place to get patterns that I'm knitting this next year. I don't want to go out, and I don't care if it's free or not, but to add many more things to my Ravelry queue. I've got plenty. Okay, so what about you guys? Do you have resolutions for this new year? What do you think? Do you think you want to do so many things for other people? How about knitting things for yourself or a loved one? Or, resolutions can take any form. So I would love to hear. Okay, now, I have oh, that's the one that fell. And it fell under my chair. It's like gymnastics sometimes. I got this book, and I showed it to you when I first got it, but I hadn't gone any farther, and I'm so sad because I just found out Tyndale is not doing their blogging program anymore, which means I won't be getting hard copies of books from them anymore, which makes me sad because I do enjoy hard copies. But this is a board book. It is called Speaking God's Word Over Your Children. You are. And I won't read the whole thing to you, but I think this is so cool. Each page has a beautiful picture, and it says, Dearest child, this first page says, Dearest child, you are a child and an heir of the Most High God. Since we are His children, we are His heirs. Romans 8:17. Oh, I'm covering up the paper. So each page has a little phrase, a little sentence, and then a verse. And it shows a mama bear, or mama animal, and their babies. And when, some places you have to have a title if you're going to review. And the only thing I could think of was powerful. Because if you read to your child, my love, you are chosen, that's empowering that child. I'm sorry, I'm getting into my teacher mode here. But you are speaking God's words over your children. Oh, I cannot recommend this book high enough. If you have children, grandchildren, children you know, great book for them. Okay, I'll get off my high horse for that. Now, Dover sent me, I get craft books and things from them. And I was kind of disappointed because the last time I requested 4 books, I only got 2 in a mailing. I thought, well, that's rather sad. Well, then I got this one on Friday. My UPS man and I have this running joke that if it's Friday, he must be delivering me a book. It's usually true. This one is a Find and Color the Imposter activity book. I used to love these things where you'd have to find the one thing that isn't like the other. And when I got this, I was so tickled. This is by Diana Zarelius, I think, but published by Dover. And it has Find the Imposter fairy tale, and they can color it. And I thought, even if my grandchildren aren't big enough to actually, or maybe their visual strength isn't their forte right yet, they can color. But I think, especially if they have a parent's help, they'd be able to do this. So yes, I am excited. Then they also have Find the Imposter Awesome Animals. I just love it. I love this. I love this. So, this one has 9 pictures, 9 aardvarks. And it goes through, and there's bat and mole, and bird and flying squirrel, and it just goes on like that. And that one looks tough. Oh my goodness, there's 18 pictures of lemurs. I would love this. When I was little, I would go to, when I'd have to go to the dentist or something, if they had highlights, I always looked for the pages like this where you had to find the one that was different. But this book is fantastic. A wildebeest and a crocodile. Oops. So yeah, this is a cool book. And then of course they do give you the solutions on the back, so you're not going blind. But like I said, this is from Dover Publications, and it's $9.99. But what a wonderful little activity book to do with, well, if you like doing them by yourself, get it for yourself or for loved ones. Ah, yes, I'm over the moon with this one. Okay, that's it. Other than to let you know that, as in the past, my yarns are $18 a skein. If you don't want to go through Etsy, but you want to purchase through me personally, just PM me, and I'll get in touch with you, and we'll figure things out, because that doesn't include shipping. So we'd have to pay shipping on top of it, but I'd help figure that out. But, yeah, so I have my yarns in my Etsy store. Otherwise, I believe that's it. You know, usually I get off and I realize, oh my goodness, I forgot to talk about this. But I don't think there's anything that I haven't talked about. Anyways, I hope you guys all have a wonderful, blessed week. I hope it's filled with love. And I hope that your crafting projects go smoothly. And if you make a mistake, I hope they're easy to fix, unlike my roving. I love each and every one of you. Big, big hugs. And I'll talk to you next week. Happy New Year. Happy Hogmanay. Bye-bye.